Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Peaceful Challenge. Today we're gonna start with working on some automatic crafting systems again. So I want to work on a piston crafting system for both sticky and normal pistons, and then another crafting system for one of the worst items to craft. And one of the big reasons why I would want an auto crafting table, dispensers of course, but also the same crafting system should be able to also craft droppers, because the recipe is almost the same, you just don't need the bow. And since it also requires some cobble and redstone, which is also a requirement for droppers and dispensers, I also want to combine it with another observer crafting option. So three in one system. We just need to basically put in some extra storage for quartz and then have a lot of options to select the different crafting recipes. So this is gonna be quite a challenge to do this with redstone. Let's head over to a creative world and try that. Okay, let's start with the piston crafting system. It's definitely gonna be the easier one. So we can also try to make it reasonably fast. So what we need to do is put 4 different materials in the crafting table. So first we need to put in 3 planks. So we would need to power a dropper 3 times. Then we need to put in 1 cobble, iron, cobble again, another cobble, redstone, and cobble. And that's the piston crafting recipe. Now we just need to add some redstone around to get this sequence. Alright, this wasn't too hard to wire up. So we got 1 single input. The first thing we do is we extend this piston here, make a little observer clock. We'll trigger the plank dropper 3 times. Then we extend the pulse here by 2 redstone ticks and activate the cobble dropper 4 times in total. And in between we also activate the other droppers. So here in between a dropper, putting in cobble, iron, and redstone will be put in. Let's check it out real quick. There we go. And this is rather quick. Since we don't need to deal with any dummy items, we can just put a hopper below the crafting table that can only take out pistons. Okay, let's try that out. Yeah, as expected. It makes a button. So the reason is, the first thing we do is put in a plank, and the piston below is not powered. Now the implementation of the auto crafting table has a little flaw, which is related to the way hoppers work. Because the hopper below, or in general, hoppers actually take out an item out of the inventory above and put it back. In this case, it puts a birch button back. This is just the way the the hoppers are coded. Doesn't make sense in this case, and we probably have to find a workaround. If we keep the hopper loaded for redstone source, so I'm not putting a redstone block here right next to it because we'll obviously power the dropper above. So we just can put a comparator here and maybe an inventory, like a furnace. We can keep it powered and you can see it works fine. We do that. Let's take out the button. So it works perfectly fine if I depower this now. It takes out the piston. Okay, so we have to basically, as long as we put in the planks, we have to keep the hopper powered and then we can depower this again. So it's a little issue if you put in 2 planks. It's not gonna power it. They actually saw it. Yeah, immediately makes a button. It's quite annoying. Even if you would put in 2 planks, it would make a pressure plate. So we need to keep this hopper powered until we put in the first cobblestone, kinda. Because then there's no valid crafting recipe. So I thought we could maybe just put a dropper here and a hopper above. As soon as we power this, item will be shot upwards. Then we could maybe add some redstone dust here and keep the hopper locked for a little bit longer. And then hopefully this would work fine. Okay. Should really take out the piston though. Oh, there's still a button in there somehow. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. Now it takes out the piston. Okay, so our implementation of the auto crafting table is not perfect, but we can do this nice workaround by keeping the hopper powered. Just the way the hoppers work, unfortunately. I would also like to have a system that automatically turns off the crafting system in case we run out of items in the droppers that would feed the crafting table. But at the moment we don't have the space yet to put a comparator on each side. Here, for example, this one here, it's gonna be already a bit tricky. I could actually put a glass block here and put the comparator there, but this one would be a bit of a problem. I think I'm just gonna redo the redstone slightly and try to fit 4 comparators in. So I was able to change up the redstone, so now we can read out the fill level of each dropper container, but I think we actually don't need it for the cobblestone. At first I also just wanted to have a cobblestone storage where we bring over the cobble, but then I thought, wouldn't it be nice if we would produce it directly at the farm? For the other materials, it would be a bit too complicated, so yeah, in order to make planks, you would at least need a tree farm, which requires a player to place. Redstone, we can't farm on site. Could make a farm for iron ingots, but since we don't need a lot, I don't think it's necessary, especially if we can put in iron blocks. Anyway, I made a cobble farm just for the crafting system. So I thought it should be a really small farm, and that's it over here. Took me a couple hours actually to end up with this design here, because I always try to make it more compact and improve it a little bit, but I'm really proud of this one here. It produces 12,500 cobble, and it's just this large. It's kind of cute even. So there's not much redstone. The only redstone we need is basically a clock here that triggers the TNT duper. And then here we have a waterlogged trapdoor. Basically the waterlogged trapdoor shields the stuff above from the explosion. And then in here we got really small blast chamber where the cobblestone generates directly on site. So we got waterlogged stairs or trapdoors here, and the lava just flows over and creates the cobble. So each explosion usually blows up 16 cobblestone, which falls down in the water stream here. This can then be directly hooked up to the crafting system. So to craft the pistons we need 12,000 cobble power. This makes 12,500. It's perfect. So things are starting to take shape. I added the interface here in the front. This is the input for the materials. We got a couple more chests for logs, since we need so much more planks than we do for redstone dust and iron ingots, so even slime balls. There will also be a switch between sticky piston and normal piston. So we can take the pistons that are outcoming here, then either choose if we send them up to the storage, or if we add a slime ball to it and send them to the sticky piston storage. Alright, then yeah, here's the on-off switch, so we'll just control a clock to craft pistons. Then we also need to add a couple of safety features in case we're running low on materials. It should stop that clock, and also a signal will be sent to the lamps here, indicating what's missing. Then here is the double chest that will be filled up with cobble. If that falls below a certain threshold, then the cobble farm will be started, and here we have 2 hoppers that would feed the double chest again. But we don't need any lamps for that. We're just gonna assume the cobble farm works fine, and we always have enough cobble and just turn it on when we actually need it. So the next challenge was making a sticky piston crafting system that can keep up the speed of the normal piston crafting system. So 1 sticky piston every 24 ticks. And I wanted it to be activated by a piston incoming. So I was successful doing it. Here we got a line of hoppers. It's basically where the pistons are coming in. Then comparator would detect the passing item here, and then the first thing I actually need to do is to put in a slime ball in this spot, and then 2 dummy items in those spots, and then the piston would be put into the crafting table last. Then we need to take out the 2 dummy items here and the sticky piston. That's why here in the hopper we got sticky pistons and dummy items, and we also need to basically make space in the dropper here. Alright, that's actually a bit of a downside that I have to fill this up. So many sticky pistons. Should maybe resync that part, because slime is still expensive for us. I could at least replace those sticky pistons here with a different item. That's something I could do. Save on 4 stacks. But then we still need 10 stacks of sticky pistons will permanently remain in the system. Maybe I can also try to improve on that. But anyway, so the system is functional. Here, just simulate the input of piston every 24 ticks. Let's check out the crafting table. was working fine. Just in time. We take out the items before the next ones come in. So basically every time we activate the dropper here to shoot one sticky piston out. Alright, actually try to reduce the number of items we need here. Using an item filter, so basically detecting if this hopper here has a certain amount of items and then unpowering the hopper below is the way better solution. So this way you don't need to have as many sticky pistons stored. Alright, good progress. The piston crafting system is finished. I put everything together. It's a bit of a redstone mess here in the back because there's just so much that is happening. But let's actually try it out. So here we craft the pistons. Whoops. Check it out. Nice and quick. And we send pistons over to the next crafting table. And then we combine it with the slime ball. Okay, and then the sticky pistons go up the item elevator and are put into the storage here. We can take them out. Okay, I've actually been even more busy and I finished the next crafting system as well. And this one was even more complicated. It was the dispenser, dropper, and observer crafting system in one. So I'm not gonna bore you with too many details. We can just take a look at it. What was a bit challenging was the option to put in bows. That's something Helga requested. Or craft those as well by just putting in logs and string. So craft planks out of the logs and then sticks out of the logs. Combine with the string into bows. So we have both options now. Helga was actually trading a lot with the Fletchers and got so many extra bows. So we have a little bow storage here as well. We can switch between 3 different crafting recipes. We also have a cobble farm. This is also required for all of them obviously. And yeah, it's working great. We can try it out. So let's, for example, make some observers. There we go. Let's turn it on. Let's see if we can actually find the crafting table where this happens in all of this. Should be over here. Yeah, down there. Okay. Here's where we make the observers. Or the droppers or dispensers. So the clue is that we actually have a hopper minecart here that is filled with all kinds of items, standing on 3 different hoppers, which only accept a single item. So yeah, all the observers go into this dropper eventually, and there's a couple of different water streams that would all lead to the storage in the end. It's also interesting if you align the items right, then you can have the bubble elevator right next to each other, so we don't need any walls separating those. As long as the item is aligned correctly, if it will go into the right hopper here at the top. Okay, here we got the storage. This crafting system isn't quite as fast as the other one, but it's also not really important. If you keep this running for a couple hours, we will get all the servers or droppers or dispensers we will need. And we're back in survival. Both crafting systems have been built up and have been also used regularly. Okay, let's actually try it out. For example, do the dispenser crafting system. So here are the bows. Helga board can turn it on. And we should get dispensers here in the output. Let's actually see. Yeah, there's the first dispenser. So it's working. So this would first use all the bows until they're used up, and then it would actually start crafting bows itself. Alright, so that's pretty good. Finally, we don't have to do that manually anymore, especially obviously the dispenser crafting system was really tedious. So really happy we got the crafting systems for that. Okay, so we got a bit time left in this episode. Maybe let's talk about some of the topics like updating to the snapshots. So a couple of weeks ago, I think it was early December, so I suggested that we could maybe update the Peaceful server to 1.17 so we could play with some of the new feature. So back then, for example, the emissaries were added, copper ore, and a couple other things that would be fun to play with. And there was even a poll at the end of the video where you could also voice your opinion. 64% were actually in favor of updating and 36% were against. But it was actually kind of surprising was that about 95% of the comments on the poll suggested to not update because of the downsides, which are mostly But you never know if you update to a snapshot, if it's stable, if maybe some bugs could occur, and whatnot. And a lot of people voiced their opinion and suggest to not update. What in the end was the most important factor, or the reason why we didn't update immediately for me, was that we wouldn't have access to replay mod, which is a really nice tool to have all those nice time lapses. So that was in the end the decisive factor. But I was still thinking about finishing some of the projects on Peaceful and then update to the snapshots. Currently the situation is a lot different, so we couldn't even update our world to the 1.17 snapshots currently because some important details are not clear yet. So the world height was extended to minus 64 downwards and up to 320 upwards, so 64 blocks additionally, both the bottom and the top of the world. And it's still not clear how old chunks will be converted. So there's different ideas. For example, just add the new terrain at the bottom of existing chunks, for example. So the normal bedrock at Y0 could be replaced with something else, and then just have the other stuff generating below. Or we just have basically 64 air blocks below the old chunks. This will also be an option, but nothing is final yet. We could, if you really wanted to, probably mod the game to update already, but this is really not worth it at the moment. So currently, we're kind of waiting it out. We will see how the first snapshot looks, where we can convert the old worlds to the new snapshots, and then we're gonna decide again. Also, the Peaceful series will probably come to an end soon, so we definitely want to wrap this up before 1.17 is released. It's looking good. There's a couple projects we still have left. I'd say, but I'm saying this a long time, it's about 2 months left, but I would have said that in November as well. Since a lot of new ideas always come up and new exciting projects we want to do. So at the moment we're still aiming to wrap up the Peaceful world, and then I'll basically start playing a lot more on SciCraft again. So before we end the episode, there's 2 more things I want to show. We upgraded our storage area a little bit. We now have a designated area for all the non-stackable items. We will maybe work on an automatic sorting system for some of those, but for now we just got a chest wall here on the side, and we finally have an automatic furnace array. So this design I already used quite a lot. It's really convenient, doesn't use any hopper minecarts. It's just some redstone in the back, and we got, I think, 23 furnaces to smelt, I think, about 8,500 items per hour, which is enough for the main storage. This is mostly intended in case you need to smelt a couple stacks, so the input is just a double chest. That's definitely enough for our main storage. We might work on a bigger furnace array, something in the range of 320 furnaces later, but for now, it's nice to have that at least at the main storage. Before, we basically just had a single furnace here in the corner. That is so much nicer. I think there's also a room behind. Yeah, we got a little bit of decoration. So now we can also, I'm gonna do that right away, set my spawn point here. So in case we come back from the end, we're directly at the storage system now. Before we just had a bed also, I think, in the same corner as the furnaces. Wasn't really that nice, so yeah, looks a bit nicer now. Okay, then last thing we can also check out is the progress on the Void Beater. Check it out, isn't that crazy? The complete main end island is now surrounded by a layer of ice. So this was our project to completely fill up the void. The single flying machine has been running for about 4 months now. So we started at 1200 blocks out in that direction. The plan is also now to continue going 1200 blocks in this direction. See how far we've actually gotten. So here's actually our, this is the part of the trading system. And that's roughly where the flying machines are at the moment. Yeah, here they are. So this has been running for a couple of weeks now. And still working fine. So yeah, probably like 10 more days and then we can also turn this off. It's pretty good. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks guys for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.